It's always been open, but why this concerted push to get Singaporeans to get involved? And what exactly do you want to hear from them? What sort of feedback are you expecting? Are you expecting upfront critical ones to say do more, or are you expecting different sorts of ideas to come forward?
Two things. So earlier this year, DPM Heng announced that we have the Singapore Together initiative. And that's really a recognition of the fact that people have inputs, people have ideas. So that's very important to tap on and harness the collective great ideas that people have. The other thing is that government obviously cannot do everything alone. And you're only as good as the feedback that you get so that you can address things specifically and make sure that you meet needs. So that's one part. But the other thing is this. You've got the global situation as it is. It's dampening economic sentiment. But at the same time, Singapore has got very solid foundations. So what do you do in a situation like that? You've got to make sure that you're strategic. You've got to make sure that with the limited resources we have bang for the buck. We do the most good with the resources we have. And every budget is a strategic plan. Every budget builds on the previous budgets. So this particular budget is something that we must think about, not just government, but Singaporeans as a whole. How can we use our resources to tackle the challenges ahead, building on the strong foundations that we have? And there are various groups that you have to think about.
Sure.
One is businesses. The other is workers, people who are employed or seeking employment. Then you have families and seniors.
Yep.
And then we also have to think of future Singapore as a whole.
Okay.
So those are the broad groups.
I mean, you talk about it being building on previous budgets, but I get a sense that it's also slightly different this year. I mean, yes, more feedback, but I also get the sense that it's almost a more important budget in various ways, perhaps because of the challenges that we have been facing over the past 12 months or so, perhaps even longer. Obviously, the trade tensions come to mind. Brexit comes to mind. What's happening around the world in terms of the gap, income gap also comes to mind. Am I right to say that? Is it going to be slightly different, or is this, business as usual?
It's not business as usual because what's happening in the world is not business as usual. So you're correct in the sense that the global environment will require a response from us. But at the same time, we also have to look forward. So this is going to be a budget that will address our current needs, but also position us for the future. So it's a kind of, let's deal with what we have. Let's have a strategic approach using our finances. But at the same time, don't just only look at today. You must also look at tomorrow and position ourselves and see how we're going to make Singapore of tomorrow grow, flourish, create opportunities for our people.
Okay.